Hello, 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 and welcome to Women's Wisdom Wednesdays, where we come together every Wednesday to empower women just like you, foster connections, and thrive on our journey of surviving womanhood. I'm Kasey Conrad, well-being specialist and whole life coach, and my beautiful co-host.
Hi, I'm Bianca Cartin, and I'm a business and mindset coach.
Thank you. Today we have a very special guest joining us. Her name is Maria Minuto, and she has an incredible story to share. But before we introduce her, let's take a moment to address you, our audience. We want to remind you to visit our website at www.survivingwomanhood.com, where you can find valuable resources, connect with other women, and stay updated on our upcoming episodes, webinars, which we have one coming up, a free webinar on the 10th of January. Check our Facebook page and our website. And our workshops, which we also have one coming up in January called Awakening the Power of Me. It's a total dive into self-exploration and self-awareness. It's intense, but amazing. And our retreats. We encourage you to actively participate by asking questions and adding comments. And if you have a story to share, we would love to hear it. This is a safe space where we can learn and grow together. We'd also like to ask you to share your favorite Women's Wisdom Wednesday episodes. You never know who out there might benefit from these inspiring and uplifting stories. Now, let's meet Maria. Maria is
Hello.
an educator. Hi, Maria.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome. Maria is an educator who's recently started her journey as a confidence coach. Welcome to the coaching family, Maria. It's
Thank
good to
you.
have you. Maria was born with a rare genetic anomaly called Turner's syndrome. This is the condition, excuse me, that affects only 1 in 2,000 girls. Females generally carry 2 X chromosomes. Males carry 1 X and 1 Y. In Turner syndrome, the female is missing or partially missing one of her X chromosomes. These effects of Turner syndrome can include, but are not limited to, shortened stature. Maria is 4 foot tall. Ovarian failure, which consequently results in infertility. Issues with the thyroid. Maria experiences hypothyroidism, which means her thyroid works too slowly. The early development of heart disease and hearing loss. Maria was diagnosed with Turner syndrome at the age of 9 and immediately began getting injections of growth hormones daily. At the age of 15, she was told that she would never be able to have children. And at the young age of 21, Maria decided that she was going to take control of her life. She moved out on her own and hasn't looked back. So Maria, we're privileged to have you here today, and we're sure that your journey will serve as an inspiration to many.
Thank
Would you
you.
like to
Thank
say
you so
something?
much for having me. And it's beautiful. It's the second time I'm sharing my story, and it's so exciting. And it's a privilege to be here, really.
We're
Thank you.
privileged to have you. So let's get started with our first question so we can hear your wonderful story. So Maria, can you share some of the challenges that you've encountered during your life's journey with Turner syndrome and how you've managed to move through your concerns and challenges to find that independent life that so many of us are looking for?
So, as you were mentioning, my body appearance were the first things that I was dealing with, because at the age of 6, we understood there was something wrong with me, because I stopped grow and I started to gain so many kilos. And then we found out that I had hypothyroidism, and after the hypothyroidism, at the age of 9, we find out that I had this syndrome that nobody would understand before, no doctors. And what at the beginning, I took it as a little joke when I was kid, because I had to do the growth hormones, and yeah, was like merely a joke. But then I understand there was something much deeper and was serious. At the age of 15, as you were saying, um, doctor out of the blue were telling me, like, you cannot have kids and you need to forget it. Think that was actually hard for me to deal with, because I was dreamy girl. I was a dreamy girl. My dream, if you know a bit of the Italian culture, I'm from Italy, and the Italian culture, we really care about family. They, the parents inculcate inside you the idea that the achievement of life is having kids, having this beautiful life with lots of kids. And when they were saying that, was actually difficult to deal with. But what I have done, it was like not letting the label that people around me were giving me, because I felt a bit of not being different, actually, and like certain limiting beliefs that they were putting on me, like, oh, look at you, you're not like everybody, you're smaller than me, you're what this. But yeah, and the first things I have done, it was moving from my environment, so my family, thinking that this would help me to just fly, like, but wasn't like this, because during the years afterwards, I was like trying to like achieving the things that I didn't know what was, and then repeating certain patterns that kept me stuck. But when I understood that were just limiting beliefs that were put on me, and I had the power to be free, that was like where my freedom started and my journey to grow.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. I want to say back to you what I think I've heard. That when you decided to move out, your whole idea was just to be independent. You just wanted to be out on your own, but you didn't have a goal for that being out on your own. And because of that, you kept repeating patterns and you weren't being very successful.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you if you could identify for us a couple of the limiting beliefs that you were talking about that you got through your conditioning, and how did you overcome them then to reach your goal?
Okay. The first pattern I discovered I used to carry is thinking that I wasn't deserving. I wasn't deserving. which was actually a limiting belief that were coming from when you see people acting towards you in a certain way, and but then I understood that was actually not true, that I do deserve love, I do deserve to be me, and what the first things was being aware of the limiting belief I had, and then start to work on them, like noticing that I could shift them.
That's beautiful. And again, so what kind of techniques did you use in order to overcome these limiting beliefs? First, to identify them, and then to overcome them and to be able to set it.
I overcame the limiting belief of deserving, like with the breath work, because I do breath work, and feeling myself, knowing meditation. I do meditation, and like feeling me, feeling my breath, feeling my heart, knowing that like we got this beautiful energy inside us that needs to be out there, and it's just, you know, like light for people.
Fantastic. Two of my favorite ways as well. So breath work and meditation.
Also have faith. Also
And
have faith.
faith, yes.
People can believe in anything. You call it as you want to, but have faith that you are here and you've been wanted here for a reason. You are a miracle that is there for a reason. You have a purpose here in this life, so you need to just understand it, knowing that you are in the right path, and everything will fold slowly, but it will like unfold it and you will see clearly.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Bianca.
Yeah, so you've obviously been on such an incredible journey, overcoming all of these challenges of yours. How have you personally processed and adjusted these challenges and transformations? You've mentioned a few of your practices. Well, what strategies have you used to help you find strength? And it's very obvious to me you found a lot of acceptance in your diagnosis and living a life that you feel very fulfilled about. So how have you managed those things?
Well, acceptance there was a first phase where, especially when I was young, I wouldn't accept that. I wasn't accepting the fact that I was different from others. But then there was another phase of opposition. Like I will not let the label people give me to define who I was, or what people say define who I am, or the emotion I have define who I am, because I'm much more than all these things. And the third phase was like really like owning my story, and knowing, I think part of owning my story is related also to the faith I was mentioning before, because when you see that you have a purpose in life, that and you turn your mess in a message, that is where, like, okay, you see that you were meant to for something. You were meant for something.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing that you've come through all of those things with that sentiment, and now you're delivering that message. I'm sure that there are people watching or be listening to us and things like that that are not familiar with Turner's disease and what that means. So is it possible you could sort of let us understand a little bit more from your perspective about
yeah.
what that is for you currently and how that is?
So what Turner syndrome? It was very difficult at the beginning to understand Turner syndrome, because my features, uh, are aren't really. I'm a mosaicism, so the features are not typical of a Turner syndrome. Is like a partial part of the X, but it was more dealing with not being heard, low self-esteem, swing over the emotion, feeling less of a woman because of my infertility. Like, I wouldn't like, yeah, I was comparing myself to other women, to the girls of my age that were looking, especially during the teenager age, everybody is blossoming, and my body wasn't, and I was really feeling it, and this was, and also a bit of the environment where I was growing, that my parents were trying to do the best they could, but they were scared too. They didn't know what they were dealing with. So I was a little bit of the black sheep of the family, the one who was actually, for example, like uh, responding emotionally to certain things that for them wouldn't make sense, but were making sense for me. And we couldn't communicate at that level. So when I had to detach from them at the beginning, and I thought this would have been enough, to be honest, but it wasn't. It wasn't, because I was repeating that patterns, as I said before, and yeah.
So then
And
have you found a community, particularly, I guess, with being able to access online these days? Do you have communities of other people, other women who also have Turner syndrome?
I just couple of months ago, I found out there is a TSS community that does have also a podcast, to be honest. And but when I was in Italy or in Hungary, I didn't know there was a community, and it's actually amazing also hearing the story of this woman and see that they were dealing with the same thing.
Yeah.
Is actually beautiful, and I didn't meet them yet, but I will soon, because they do in person events. So
Okay.
I will be attending.
Yeah. So then what advice would you have for other women who are perhaps like yourself, have been living with Turner syndrome and been quite isolated and trying to thrive in a world
Yeah,
like this, what kind of advice would you give to other women?
I would say just acknowledge yourself for who you are, own your story, uh, because you are incredible. I will say that, and also you don't need to be perfect. You are perfect in your imperfection. Leave the need to fit in, to be what people want, and just be you, because it's that light that people will connect with, will feel you. So yeah, also in a daily basis with friends, with co-workers, if your authenticity is what connect, and your story is what connect you with people. So yeah,
Yeah,
just
that's
be
really
you.
important. Yeah. And my last question for you is, how has your journey impacted your perspective on life and the importance of self-care?
Well, a lot. At the beginning, I had a mindset where life was really, really happening to me. All this was a burden for me. Burdens for me was like, and the question I had in mind a lot of time is, why me? Like, why in 2000 people really, really me? And but then when I shifted the mindset from this kind of mindset to you, this is where I can help women. This is where I this is what makes me me, and be sensible and empathetic person is what. And so this is where I shifted. And on self-esteem was, I used to think that self-care was just taking care of how you look in the outside, how you look, like how your eyes look. And then I understood that look look in your eyes in the mirror and see your soul, see what the person you are, what you have achieved, no matter how small is it. But yeah, and take care of your emotions, take care of your soul, and give to people. Give love, give yourself.
That's
Yeah.
Beautiful
beautiful.
way of looking at it, of self-care. Yeah, absolutely.
So that is a wonderful story that you've shared with us, Maria. I'm just going to bullet point a few things that you've said for the rest of the people who might be interested. One, be self-aware. Self-awareness is super important to be able to be you, connect with authenticity, right? Own who you are in order to be able to have this self-acceptance. And so let me see what else I've got here. And that for those people who are not feeling heard, that was something that you experienced, not being heard. So to be able to find a community and do things like meditation and breath work, be really aware of your self-care, and again, find that perfect community where people understand you, and to be able to, again, very importantly, I think I've heard, to be able to accept yourself and be who you are.
Yeah.
Let people see you and know you for exactly who you are.
Perfect. Yeah, because people, we love when there is authenticity is where people will be drawn to you, where you will be connected. You can connect with people. Yes.
Great.
Your story is so powerful because it's what makes us human. I know it's difficult sometimes be vulnerable, but being vulnerable is what makes us. I'm not different from you.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So Bianca, do you have any other questions for Maria?
Yeah, actually, I have one. Is your family are still, they were in Italy, so you've obviously then decided not only to leave your family but to travel as well.
Yeah, and I need to say that during these couple of years where I started, I think it's a couple of years I started this journey on a personal development, even though I was studying psychology before on a high school, and this what was helping me on this journey too. Like the little steps, like it's incredible to see how everything happen for a reason. Yeah, and they I did detach from them, but the connection with them, now that I I became I did actually uh have forgive myself, and be compassionate with both of us. Also, our communication became different, and our connection now is different because you see the journey, what the other is going through, and you can communicate better. So it's beautiful. Yes.
And they must be incredibly proud of you, taking on that bit and taking your life into your own hands like that and taking charge. That's so good.
Yes.
They were they were like very like they weren't like they would never think I would do that. I would be able to like fly this much, and they wouldn't be able to think, oh, Maria is living on her own in England, is managing herself, and yeah.
Well
So
done. Very well. Thank you so, so much. And I just want to take a moment to appreciate you, Maria, for sharing this wonderfully inspiring journey with us. Your strength and resilience are truly remarkable. So thank you
thank
very much.
you.
Thank you.
And I love to be with you, and thank you so much for having me. And thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We want to invite our viewers to share their own stories, suggest future topics or guests, and actively engage with the Surviving Womanhood community. And please remember to mark your calendars and join us for our next Women's Wisdom Wednesday episode on December 20th, when we'll have the privilege of hosting a remarkable guest, Marcel Vosges, who will be sharing another inspiring story. Maria, your journey is a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of character and the desire for independence. So thank you again. And
Thank you so much.
yes, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your incredible story. I know it serves as an inspiration to all of us. So if you've been touched by Maria's story or have your own experience to share, please leave us a comment, or if you have a question below, we will get the information for the community that Maria has mentioned for the Turner syndrome. And because these kinds of things, these resources, we love to share with you because sometimes they're difficult to find. We value your voice and want to create a community where we can all learn and grow together. And remember to catch up on any of the Women's Wisdom Wednesday episodes you've missed. go to our website at www.survivingwomanhood.com and click on podcasts. Together, let's face every challenge, rise above adversity, and support one another on our journey of surviving womanhood. See you next time. Thank you all.
Thank you.